Mr. President, I want to thank Senator Murray for her leadership on this issue and thank my colleague, Senator Tammy Duckworth. I first met Tammy Duckworth about 12 years ago. She was my guest at a State of the Union address. She was a patient at Walter Reed Hospital. She was recovering from the wounds which she incurred in a combat helicopter fighting for the United States of America. What happened to her is unimaginable. A terrorist shot a rocket-propelled grenade into the cockpit of her helicopter and it landed in her lap. She lost her left leg as a result of it and went through at least a year, maybe more, at Walter Reed Hospital, patching her up, saving her arm, thank goodness, and giving her the kind of guidance she needed to lead a life. When I met her, I knew she was an extraordinary person, an extraordinary American. I didn't know how extraordinary until I called her one day and said, would you consider running for office? And in a moment of weakness, and she says, with medication, she answered yes. I watched her be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives and to the U.S. Senate. She's become more than just a colleague. She is a friend I dearly love and believe we're lucky to have in our nation in the United States Senate. She made a phone call to me about 8 years ago. I remember it so well. I was driving on Interstate 55 up to Bloomington for a meeting, and it was Tammy to give me some news. I said, what's up, Tammy? And she said, I'm going to have a baby. You could have knocked me over with a feather. I couldn't believe it. After all she had been through, losing a leg, going through a year or more in Walter Reed Hospital, she and her husband, Brian, finally had their dream come true. Through in vitro fertilization, she was going to have a baby girl. It was a miracle. I couldn't believe it. And yet it did happen. And we had to change the rules of the Senate so that Tammy Duckworth, the first woman senator to have a child while serving in the Senate, could bring her baby on the floor of the Senate. We had to have a special rule for that. But it meant so much to her to let her little girl have that experience, and we changed the rules. The reason I tell you that story is it can be repeated over and over thousands and thousands of times. In vitro fertilization is the ticket for military service members and veterans like Tammy Duckworth to have the joy of a child. In fact, she's had a second child through IVF. And with that joy, show that she can not only be a great senator and a great wife, but a terrific mother too. What's at stake here is privacy and freedom. Privacy and freedom as to whether we as Americans are going to respect one another in making these fundamental human decisions. There are politicians in this chamber, as well as in legislatures across the country, who want to make that decision for your family. Don't let them take that away from you. That's why this vote is so critically important. What we are guaranteeing is a privacy and freedom of individuals and families who want to choose IVF to start or expand their families. That's just common sense. If you're pro-choice, protect the choice to use IVF to expand your family. If you're pro-life, protect the life that comes out of that process that becomes such a critical part of your own life. I listened to Senator Hickenlooper. I've met Jack. He's worth all the effort and pain that they went through. And people like Senator Hickenlooper and his wife, Robin, should have that opportunity, and we should protect it. Let's make sure we do. Vote yes on this proposal. I yield the floor.